everyone, it's Maddie.
And welcome to day 2 of YALC.
This day somehow managed to be even busier than Friday.
So before we went to Carlie Sorosiak's signing, which is the first clip we had, we sort of wandered the convention centre and I asked HQ if they were going to do an arc drop of Zenith. So we skipped the New Voices panel, which is where a bunch of debut authors would talk about their books and their journey into publishing, to hang out by this stand. People had already started to form like a little bubble crowd around the tables, and then eventually when arcs did start getting dropped, it turned into a horrendous like trample session. There was pushing. I nearly had a panic attack right in the middle of them because you could not move. People were shoulder to shoulder and shoving you above and behind, so it was not a nice place to be. Just evaluate whether or not you want to get in those situations, because 100% of the time they are not worth it.
So the day began quite sourly, but then it only got better from then, and we got to see some absolutely amazing panels today. It was the day that a lot of the international authors were doing signings and panels, so we managed to get quite a lot of footage from that. And at the very end of the day, Pratt was shaving her head for charity, and something pretty exciting happened, which we have some footage of. We also got to hang out with a lot more people on Saturday than on Friday, and they actually turn up in the video this time. So anyone that pops up, will leave their links to their social media or YouTube channels in the description so you can find them too.
So we're starting this with a sort of PSA for if you're at YALC in future years, make sure to look after yourself, but here's the rest of Saturday.
Maddie and book bloggers. That is the word.
I haven't read it yet, but you've ended up with a beautiful cover.
Oh no, it's so pretty. Like, I try not to pick favorites, like which ones when I'm but like
it's lovely.
Really loved it.
Yeah, we're a big fan of like dual perspective things, so hopefully it'll be sweet.
Yeah, like some people don't really like dual perspective that are like most first person narratives, because like the voices can blur, but I feel like I've done it distinctly enough. No one's like commented about it, they couldn't tell who was who yet, so I think that it's female in this one as well.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
A little bit different, yeah, but I followed you guys in like reviews and stuff, so
that's so lovely.
Like, just thank you for doing what you do.
Lily's here!
I'm here as well.
Carrie's just like in every shot. I just got a book signed by Carlie Sorosiak. She's so cute.
And we've actually been seeing each other a lot over the weekend, but this is just the first time Lily's popping up.
I've seen you vlogging, like I see you sitting down and I'm like, so I'm like, you guys definitely trying to get it for weekend.
Just standing there and you had to take a photo with those photos. I was just looking at them and I just was like, shall I? And then I was like, I've got no one to take my photo, and this girl took it, so I was like, I'll take your photo for you.
I seriously thought that girl that like grabbed the thing before us was going to take it for herself, and then she passed it to us, and I was like, oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, I was
so
But you came out and she was like,
what's going on?
It was like, thanks for
I just like looked and I was like, just go.
Just go.
So Hockey Books just tweeted that they were doing a proof drop of something and they didn't say what, so now this is the crowd that forms around the stand when we have no clue what's happening. B is currently in the queue for Alice Broadway. Only a couple people left.
Eugenia. There we go. It's still fine.
I already like the sound of it.
Ooh, cool. What books do you like? What do you love reading? Well, actually, that's such a hard question, isn't it? It's like, I'm at a book club. I like
all the books, everything.
I'm more like the fantasy, kind of more, you know, the dystopian and fantasy vibes of this book, but Maddie is more of the sort of more fairy tale.
Yeah, I'm so into that.
So I guess the Louise O'Neill's, she's got one coming out next year.
Yeah, I got the little sampler for that.
Amazing. You read After the Fire. It's meant to be. Yes. And it's meant to be like properly neat tissues and.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
We absolutely love it. I focused on that. So yeah, there's nothing worse than investing years and years into a series and getting to the end of it like, that was not my fault. It was definitely it feels a bit like I'm like a mum and my kids have gone off to university. And it's a bit time. Both of us need time. Have you got anything else planned? I'm working on something secret at the moment, which I can't really talk about, but it's kind of in the new, exciting, scary stage. Okay. Hopefully, I'll have something next year.
Did you enjoy your trip across Asia?
I did. Okay. It was exactly what I needed. I think sometimes you get a little bit caught up with, kind of everything being a bit too kind of related. Sometimes you need to get away and actually remember what it's like outside in real life.
Yeah. Harriet had all the adventures. It was your turn,
you know. Had the adventures so I can write about them.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it was brilliant, and I took pandas.
Taken a second to regroup and reorganize our bags because we've picked up a few arcs but not as many as yesterday, not near as many. You've just seen us meet Alice Broadway, and then we sat in a queue for Ollie Smale, and we saw her sign was on the board, so we just decided to sit on the floor because we didn't really have anything else going on, so it was time we could and I just wanted my feet to not be holding any weight.
Yeah, exactly. So we've just finished with the Ollie Smale signing now, and that was super sweet because now we have all of our books signed in the whole Geek Girl collection, which just feels absolutely wonderful. Got to meet back up with Karis and Kate and see what they're doing, and then I think we're having lunch before an unconventional romance panel with Lauren James.
But I think we're going to do some wandering and maybe film a bit because we haven't really filmed all of the publishers' stands.
Yeah.
We're just by this Harry Potter thing where people can say what Harry Potter means to them, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then I might look at books to buy.
Yeah.
I haven't done any of that yet, and it's halfway through day 2.
So we just bought some books from the Penguin stand. So that was the first one we went to, and now we're just kind of looking at what else is on offer.
The Upside of Unrequited and The Miseducation of Cameron Post. Now this is at our library, but this cover is just so gay, it's we need that.
Got into our first panel of the day, and it's about genre bending, and Schwab is on this panel. I'm not really sure who else is because obviously she's the headliner of this event, so yeah, exactly, the only one we know. But we're sat quite close to the exit so that we can run out and meet Kiran Millwood Hargrave, who's going to be at the Chicken House stall. We're all really excited to get Girl of Ink and Stars signed as well. That was one of my most hyped moments of today, so I hope it all goes well.
And this is the genre bending panel. So I'm just going to begin by asking the panelists to give us a little introduction, just saying your name and what book you wrote.
My name is Malcolm Stewart. I wrote Riverkeep, and my next book is The Sacrifice Box, which is coming out in January.
I'm Jenn. I'm the author of Sorcerer to the Crown, which is a historical fantasy novel. It's about England's first African sorcerer royal, and he has so many problems.
My name is Benedict. I write the Rivers of London series, which is about policemen that do magic, basically.
Hi there, I'm the Schwab. I write the Shades of Magic series and the Monsters of Rarity duology. I write about strange things that don't fit into one genre.
And I'm Dan Valletta, and I'm the author of Smoke, which is about sin.
We're just in the queue now to meet Kiran Millwood Hargrave, and she's signing at the Chicken House booth. The queue goes all the way over there, and we're just waiting for these to come back. Oh, there you are! So we're just waiting for this to happen. So and Karis got a book because
I'm so proud of her.
We all had it.
It's highly recommended.
I'm so proud of her.
To pick it up. Yeah.
We should campaign. Pick it up.
Well, I feel like Moana is kind of, I know it's all the same, but it's done the comedy chicken, it's the girl.
Moana is great.
Moana didn't have a female friend though.
That's true.
So.
That's one way to do it.
I'm Lauren James, the author of the Next Together series and The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. And today I have Aiysha Malik, the author of the Sophia Khan duology, a Bridget Jones-style tell-all about a publicist writing a book on the Muslim dating scene. The first book was a W.H. Smith Fresh Talent pick and has been optioned for TV. Next to her we have Jennifer E. Smith, who has joined us all the way from America, and she's the author of 8 young adult novels, the most recent being Windfall, about a girl who gives her friend a winning lottery ticket for his birthday. Her books have been translated into nearly 30 languages. Then we have Paige Toon, who is the author of 11 romance novels, as well as a young adult trilogy spin-off of her Johnny B. Good duology, starring the daughter of a pop star, Jessie Jefferson. Her books are bestsellers throughout Europe and have been picked for the Zorella Book Club. Finally, next to me we have Patrice, whose first novel, Orange Boy, won the Waterstones Book Prize for Older Children and the YA Book Prize, and was shortlisted for the Costa Children's Book Award. Her latest novel is Indigo Donut, a romance set in London between teenagers of different social backgrounds.
Yeah, the romance is my latest novel. My little challenge, because I'm the least romantic person ever. And it kind of is a romance between a young woman who's grown up in the care system, is trying to find out who she is, and a young guy called Bailey who really thinks he does know who he is. And how it starts with a friendship. He realises he knows something about her and her background, and it's really kind of get over that and still have a romance.
Jessie is a 15-year-old girl who loses her mother, and her mother died not letting her know who her biological father was. So when she finds out that her father is this rock star, she sort of has to live half of her life in secret in the UK and the other half over in America, sort of not letting the world know that she's this daughter of this rock star. And she meets a bad boy, sort of rock star boy version of her dad. Sounds a bit weird. in the UK, but also has a sort of boy next door kind of type, Tom, back in the UK. So yeah, the romance is a little bit of a love triangle thing going on.
So Windfall, my newest book, is the story of a girl who's been in love with her best friend all through high school. And on his 18th birthday, sort of as a joke, she buys him a lottery ticket, and he ends up winning $140 million. So they've sort of been on the brink of something happening the night before on his birthday. And then they wake up the next morning and the whole world's different. And so it was really fun to write. It was a fun idea to play around with. Most of my books, if you know any of them, are meet-cutes. And this was the first time I'd written about 2 people who were friends, and that turned into a romance. So it was a bit different that way.
My first book is kind of a romance, a rom-com. And the second book, I guess, is a bit of an anti-romance book. What happens after Happily Ever After. The first book really is about a young hijabi Muslim woman living in London who is asked to write a Muslim dating book because people don't know much about normal Muslim people, they think they're all terrorists. And so she goes about this and ends up embroiled in all these online dating situations. She's broken up with her ex-boyfriend who wanted her to live with him and his parents after they got married. And so it's really about her discovering what love means, but also love and romance, not romance, but love in the shape of family relationships and friendships as well.
My latest book is The Last Beginning, and it's a lesbian romance about Clove and Ella who meet during time travel shenanigans. So while your books usually have happy endings, they often go to quite dark places within the story, dealing with class, racism and politics. And I was wondering whether you considered yourself romance writers, and what are your feelings on romance as a genre?
I think I've always struggled with romance in a sense as a genre. I think because when I was growing up I grew up in West Sussex, sort of in the 70s and 80s, and there were never any girls in any of the books that looked like me. And at the time, I suppose when you're a teenager and you're looking to affirm your identity and you're looking for validation, and I was always a big reader, there was never anyone who ever looked like me. So I've always struggled with romances. And I think with Indigo Donut, at the heart of it is a mystery as well. And I think because also I've always worked in the sort of charity and voluntary sector, and also my family have had quite interesting lives. So I'm always interested in people, and I've known many people and stories who have experienced prison or the care system or quite traumatic things. So I'm really interested in those lives. But I'm also interested in hope as well, and the sense that telling people who have experiences just can have a really good romance and a little bit of sex as well. So I'm quite interested in writing that type of book, which is what I try to write. I think there's something really affirming about writing about positive relationships and people finding that person who might, just even for a little bit, might just be that one.
Yeah, and there's something so universal about that. I think like what's cool about, I don't really consider myself necessarily a romance writer either, and more so than my other books, Windfall is the love story is a bit secondary to the character's journey, I guess. But what's so great about love stories is that they, whatever city, whatever country, whatever culture you're in, everyone's, been 16 and in love, and there's something so hopeful and relatable and universal about that. So I think that's what's really appealing about it.
It's after lunch and we've just finished with the Unconventional Romance panel, which was pretty good.
Well, we've got a bit of a slower afternoon because we're just waiting for signing. As there's Holly Bourne and Laura Dockrell, and Jenny's going to be at the Bloomsbury table, so hopefully we'll get that. And people have started doing something over there, so you checking?
We're camped outside of Hotkey Books because I'm hoping they're going to announce something to do with The Cruel Prince, and the only thing they have is like right there.
YALC has been pretty cool so far, and there are lots more people here than there were on Sunday, which is pretty intense. But apparently tomorrow is going to be more of a chill day for us. I'm still really excited that we got to sit in on a panel, and I wanted to go and see Jenny McCollum talk with her agent, but I think that coincides with a lot of signings, and I know those queues will be long, so I'll probably prioritise doing that. Paris and me are just stalking the Hotkey Books table. We've only been successful so far with, I think, one of the proof drops that we ran to, and the rest we've been like the fifth or something in line to be turned away. All about luck and where you are in the venue, that's why we're here, so hopefully we've got a better chance.
So
what happens?
Tickets from Bookmark for the art drop with Emily, and you have to be there at this exact time to get one. Just kind of
how long away is it?
Lauren James, mine's 31 minutes away, and it's 2:26 or 26 minutes.
I mean, they said to wait half an hour for the Lauren signing anyway, so if we just wait until you guys have got your proofs and then hit it up.
I just went to the My Kind of Book stand because they were doing this thing with cupcakes, and she explained it that when you picked a cupcake, you could either get just a plain cupcake or there could be a symbol on the bottom, and that would mean that you won a prize. And I just went assuming that I was like, oh, it's lucky dip.
Just went and picked a cupcake, so there was loads of cupcakes, and basically like there was 3 symbols that you could get, or you could get one with nothing on. So I got one with a crown on the bottom, which means that I win this Soap and Glory hamper, which is nice, but also we all know that I am like the worst at having nice.
You're buying that suitcase from Primark, allocate, so.
I didn't realise, you must have already gone, because when I queued up, I just thought, oh okay, I'm going to pick a green cupcake, and I just picked it, and it has like a little penned star on the bottom, and I was like, oh, what does the star mean? And the woman at the store was just like, oh my gosh, that means you've won a year's supply of books from My Kind of Book. I got shuffled to the side, I gave my details to this woman, she was like, oh, we'll just be sending you a year's supply of like everything that they have on the table, or just like random stuff, so I don't really know what to expect when it all arrives.
A year's supply will probably be like 12 books, I guess.
I think so.
100. I read 100 books in a year.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really exciting.
That's amazing.
But at least they didn't give them all to me now.
Yeah. How the hell would you have got them home?
So now I just get this cupcake.
What else is in your Soap and Glory box?
Well, I feel like I can probably unpack it and put it in the case a bit easier. So I've got this. I do already own this, but
your suitcase swallowed it.
And also, I didn't bring it with me to YALC, so maybe I should take it to get signed.
It's just a sign.
I've got 2 pins, which I love pins, so those.
Oh, that's adorable.
I make up like this and just popcorn.
They're adorable.
I've got a body scrub.
Nice.
Sugar Crush, yeah. I've never used it, but I've heard amazing things. I feel like a beauty YouTuber now. Foot cream.
Foot cream.
We're gonna need it. Another pin. Oh, a book one. Happily Ever Lather, like the bath.
That's adorable.
That one's the best one. And I'm asked a welcome to the Happily Ever Lather book club and a membership to it, so I need to look at that in a minute. But
nice.
It's still exciting. Like,
yeah, you still won something.
I was the first winner as well. She was like, a winner! And I was like, yay! She handed me this box, and then I ran over to the store to get this, and I had to like fill in all this stuff, and I was just like struggling with the box, but
you did it.
Like a high now, like.
I mean, just after saying that we weren't doing very well with all the arc drops, we were just running to things and they're not coming back with anything. This is pretty insane.
That's amazing.
It might be a cupcake, but it symbolises more than that.
That's so good.
Are you going to eat it or just keep it?
I'm just gonna like, I don't know. I seriously don't know how long it's been out in the open.
Lauren and Laini doing their signing right now, so we're in the queue for Lauren. And luckily we've already seen Laini.
It's amazing.
It does, I really like it all washed out like that. Hi Lauren, hi!
How you doing? Good, thank you. How are you?
You did really well chairing that panel, it was so adorable.
Adorable. Nice.
You are adorable.
This outfit is everything.
Yes.
Jogs in space as well. Yeah, it's like everything I like.
I read this when Maddie was out of the house doing some like National Trust volunteering, and I phoned her at the end like, I can't be alone. I can't.
Get here now.
Right.
Yeah, I think someone at my publisher read it and they were like, finished it at like 2 a.m. and they were like,
That was me.
Calling up. No, this is my American publisher. And they were like, they called up another editor and they were like, I'm reading the end and I can't read it on my own. I have to do it on the phone with you.
I was trying not to spoil it because I was gasping and B was like, don't tell me what's happening. So it was pretty insane. I absolutely loved it.
It was the vent scene and I was like, no.
It was all so cinematic. Do you think you'd do like a short story like you did with these two? Can we expect it in a year?
I think I'm writing a sequel.
No way!
I wouldn't do a short story because I wouldn't want to spoil the scenes of it.
That's gonna be amazing. Okay.
Long way off.
Yes, that's something. You're like a monster when it comes to writing books. We see all your stuff on My Write Club and it's like, Lauren has crushed a goal. And you crush like 5 a day and we're there like, oh my goodness, we need to start our books. This is insane.
Go. I want to read them.
Exactly.
Yes, it's been really good. We managed to like juggle everything that was kind of
Have you done everything you want?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a bit more chill today because we were here yesterday and it was just like hectic, like first day of YALC, like mayhem. Yeah. It's nice to have a bit more of a like chilled out day to day, but it's still been really good.
Yeah, but then we hope to get out of our queue soon enough to come to this.
Who is P?
I'm B. And that's Maddie.
I love the name Maddie, I have to say, but B is so much one of my favourite names, it's like my
Yeah.
character. And then because I've done that, because I didn't use it up for my children, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
It's all your favourite names to get to do. I'm really cool.
Like you have they combine everything
And then so that they can share the costs between them. So we have some
Oh, perfect.
so they combine everything between them.
So bad. That's so nice. Really?
Yeah.
That's such a nice compliment.
And then I found like all of my writing was just on planes and I was like,
I feel like I've set up unrealistic expectations for people on planes. I often get emails where people are like, I'm sitting next to a crying baby, where's Oliver? That's so nice. Yeah, it's so nice to meet you guys.
Thank you so much.
I got the full prints, which we have been like camped in this area for like 2 hours, so yay, it paid off.
I literally saw it on Twitter, like the notification, and I was like, be there. There's a book called Things a Bright Girl Can Do by Sally Nichols, and it's basically gay suffragettes. And
As soon as they told us it had an FF romance at the at the blogger thing, I was like, I'm in.
I heard about it on your channel, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, that sounds so good.
We still haven't read it yet,
Yeah, I
but
read it yesterday.
that's
I
amazing.
was literally like, you guys even were like, ah!
So we're currently in the queue for Laura Dockrell. She's just about to come out of a Myths and Fairy Tales panel, which we didn't go to because we were just kind of sitting around and waiting for an arc drop, which all turned out in our favour, which is great. So I'm getting Orabelle signed to match my Lorelei that I got either earlier last year or earlier this year. I feel like all the signings have just melted into one, but I'm super excited to see Laura again because she was so lovely. And I didn't even realise that we have like a quoted review in the front of this book, so it's that one.
I'm pretty sure this is what Maddie said to Laura in person. So we'll have to go back to that footage and like check the receipts.
Yeah, totally. But I'm really excited, so we're just waiting for that. And we're quite close to the front of the queue, so hopefully...
There's not many people in front of us. V is still signing and her queue like still goes all the way down here, and I'm pretty sure she's like exceeded her 2-hour limit now.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's just doing it out of the kindness of her heart.
I was thinking, where's the other one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. You do. How have you been?
afternoon to have a chat about the thing that brings us all here, the thing that we love and that we love to talk about with each other when we come to YALC each year, which is books, and especially the books that inspire us and have impacted us and shaped who we are. And I am delighted to be joined by three incredible authors who I know you will all have enjoyed hearing already today. And so we have V.E. Schwab, Laini Taylor and Joanne Harris. So we're going to talk in some detail about some of the books that have inspired and influenced our panellists. But I wanted to kick off just talking a bit about books and reading in general, and specifically, you know, what your relationship to books has been and was when you were growing up. I mean, have you always been readers? Were you voracious readers as a child? I mean, V, what about you?
To be honest, I was a very proficient reader, but I was not a good reader at all. I didn't enjoy reading when I was a child. I was an only child, and I was incredibly driven and wanted to be taken seriously at all times, and so I thought that meant I had to pick the most difficult books to read from the youngest age, and all my eyes had to do was see each and every word on the page, and that's what reading was, right? If you read each of the words and you knew each of the words, that was reading. And it wasn't until my first kind of formative reading experience, which I won't say because I'll hold off on it until we talk about that, that reading became experiential, and I realized that if you found the right story, the world would disappear from around you and you would forget who you were and where you were. But no, I actually didn't grow up in a library. I didn't grow up living through books in that way. I was a complete jock. I grew up in sports. My goal as a child wasn't to be an author, it was to be a World Cup soccer player, it was to be a fencer, it was to be all of these things, and so I really didn't find a passion for reading until 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, I was always completely obsessed with books, and from the time I was a tiny kid, my parents, like when I was like 3, they thought I had learned how to read because I had memorized all my books page by page, so they could open to any page and they actually thought I was reading it, but it was just pure memorization. That was always my favorite thing. And when I think about childhood and books, I think about being brought to bookstores as a child, which it's a really funny memory because the bookstores were different at the time. I lived in Virginia Beach in the States, and bookstores weren't like they are now. They don't, for example, have bathrooms, and I would be so excited the instant I would walk into the bookstore that, this is what I remember, that immediately, like a puppy, I would have to... And there was, so imagine, now I think that this is like a sort of hell. Imagine you're brought into the most amazing bookstore you could ever imagine, but you just have to pee.
I had really difficulty starting to read. I couldn't do it. It took me much longer than anybody else in my class at school to actually learn to read because it seemed to make no sense. And then when I did learn to read, I wanted to read everything at once, and I read omnivorously.
Laini, should we start with you? Can you tell us about one of the books that made you?
Sure, and it's funny, I mean, I feel like in a way I'm sort of ill-suited to this panel because I don't have a really strong memory, even though I know I was always a reader. And I remember always reading. I don't necessarily have that many strong memories of particular books. I was in a military family, so we moved all the time, so I don't have that sort of, I never had that bookshelf preserved in amber, of all of my favorite childhood books. They would get left behind, and so I think it's interesting to me that there is this sort of black hole in my memory. What was I reading? What were the books that made me a reader? I don't really know. And also the availability of books was interesting because we didn't always live in English-speaking countries, and so maybe we would have a little school library. But my main source of books for my, sort of formative years was the Navy PX, where the spinner racks would have paperback books that were bought for the interests of like 20-year-old sailors. And so I read a lot of fantasy and probably, things that weren't really, and Stephen King, things that weren't really for 9-year-olds, drew me to fantasy from an early age. And one of those trilogies is the Harper Hall trilogy by Anne McCaffrey, Dragon Song, Dragon Singer, and Dragon Drums, which I reread last year, and I just want to say, they're so much better than the Dragon Riders of Pern books. They really hold up. They're so good, and they're true YA at a time that, they weren't really called that, I don't think. I'm not sure exactly when they were published, but anyway, really great. And the other one was the Lloyd Alexander and the Black Cauldron, the Chronicles of Prydain, that I really remember reading and rereading those books. And so that's probably, those rise to the surface of my memory for sure.
So when I was 11, I remember I was really I was cutting through the Robert Ludlum books, like the thrillers at the time, because again, I didn't really start with, I didn't grow up. I read Boxcar Children, I remember that, like, I did not care how episodic those were. But then I was 11, and obviously I was reading a bit out of turn, I was reading randomly whatever I wanted, and my mom had a friend in Southern California, and she called her up one day, and she says, hey, you know, your daughter's like 11 right now. She says, I'm at this book event with this woman who's written a fantasy series for kids about that age. She goes, do you want me to just pick up a book for her? I'll just get it signed or whatever. I don't know who this person is, but something about Harry Potter, and I think she might like it, right? And so I have a signed Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and my mom brought that book home to me, and I just wasn't really into any of that. I was reading my thrillers, but I picked up Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as an 11-year-old, reading about an 11-year-old. And there's a reason a lot of my books are considered, I call them love letters to that series, because as trite as it might sound, I would not be a writer if I hadn't learned to love reading, and I wouldn't have learned to love reading without Harry Potter. Because it was the first series that I started reading something, and time would pass, and places would change, and I would care about none of it. You know, when you see a good movie, or when you see any movie, your brain does the thing where you forget about the edges of the screen. So you're in a movie theater, and you forget you're sitting in a movie theater, and it bleeds out. That was the first time that a book did that for me, and I forgot that I was reading words on a page, and it became an immersive experience. And once I had that, it was transformative in that it was like I had never read a book before. It was like everything I did up until that point was just learning how to have that experience. And ever since then, I mean, I came out of that thinking, I want to be able to make other people forget where they are. You know, I wanted that. But I mean, I owe so much of who I am as a creative person to those books. I don't have any desire to touch any of them, because when I'm writing, I am writing to a specific version of myself, and each of my books become like a time capsule, right? So I look back at something like The Nearwich, which was my very first book, very flawed, very, like, yes, I would write it differently if I were writing it as 30-year-old me, but I wasn't. I was writing it as 20-year-old me, and it is so much a time capsule for who I was, and I learned through the writing of it. So like how the writing shapes me, the execution of each and every book makes me who I am when I write the next book.
I think that I've learned a lot about myself through seeing what themes come up again and again in my books. You know, a lot of times, I mean, I don't know how many authors are intentional in their themes, or, you know, obviously I think we know at least some level of them, but then I'll have finished a book and realize what it's actually about after having finished the draft, and realize that it's, you know, I have the same things that I sort of like look at over and over, and I wouldn't have known that about myself, you know, if I hadn't written a number of novels now where I keep sort of looking at the same things. So that's interesting.
Mine is insiders and outsiders. Like, I grew up feeling like an outsider no matter where I was, and I think that I love exploring the dichotomy in books between an outsider who is born outside of a society and an outsider who is born inside a society but feels other to it. So like all of my main characters in all of my books are outsiders in some way, and yet I want to put them in the central place of focus and watch how it changes, how the world changes around them. Every single one of my books is about outsider.
I think one of them is identity and discovering who you are and finding your place in the world, or making your place in the world. That's certainly one of them. And then I do find myself you know, writing about war and forgiveness and amnesty a lot for some reason that isn't, you know, anything to do with my personal history as a, you know, sort of safe, you know, never been in war, never been in peril. For some reason, I'm really drawn to this idea of if we can forgive the enemy, if there's ever any true change that can happen, and going forward, and an amnesty that can happen between people, and what it takes to make that happen. So that's one of them.
The current total that we've raised so far for the Royal Hospital for Neurodisability is £2,430. And that's without my mum donating, because she refuses to, because she thinks what I'm doing is hideous. She was like, I'll pay you to keep your hair. Like, that's not how this works. So thank you very, very much. And thank you very much to Walker, who have been ridiculously supportive of this and helped me organise what I think was a pretty epic pub quiz and what I guess is going to be a pretty epic headshake. Neither of us know what we're doing. Okay, so do we have to cut my hair first? Oh, that's a bit boring, isn't it? Well, I've got scissors, so who would like to come and cut some of my hair?
Benedict Cumberbatch literally just walked from there, round there. He just kind of looked up and then like smirked and had a little giggle. Oh my gosh. Oh, Mel Salisbury that is completely broken. So YALC is just finishing for the day for the second time, and we stayed here until the very end to watch Pratt shave her head, which was really lovely. There was such community spirit in that room and everyone was really cheering her on, and it was really great. And then the panel before that, which was Books That Made Us with Laini, Schwab and Joanne was so amazing. Like, they said so many things that I almost teared up at a few of their anecdotes. It was just really heartwarming to hear about their own reading experiences, things like that. Me and Ellie are approaching Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Everyone was talking about it in the loo. Everyone was like, he was so tall. No one caught it on film, but too many people were there that no one can prove it didn't happen.
Yeah. So we made it to Toon and Patrice is here too, and we were just talking, about this Benedict Cumberbatch picture. Someone got proof. So we might make a parody account for Benedict at YALC, which is like the best thing ever.
How would you rate your first Nando's experience?
Yeah, this is our first Nando's. I'd give it like a 3. I feel like if I was more adventurous... 10? No, out of 10. Out of 5. I feel like it would be more exciting if I'd gone like more exciting with the actual food. So, yeah, what about you?
I'd give it like a 4.
Oh, okay.
I really liked it. It was good. Yes.
I love how you're reviewing Nando's.
I give it 3 stars.
Stay on brand.
I mean, that is how food reviewing works. You still give it stars, you know? Right now, we're just trying to put everything in our cases. So we've essentially unpacked everything that we had during the day and what was in our other half of the case and trying to prioritise fitting stuff in. Throughout the whole weekend, Patrice has had these like couple of stacks of books of all the books that she brought with her and then all of the books that she's collected during the days at YALC. Yeah, they do look good there. And then there's this stack as well. That's what you'll have to do in your
your whole social
story box. So that's going to be awkward.
Like a really nice
little box as well.
I want to keep the box, so I'm just going to have to carry it. And this is a suitcase that I've got to fit it all in.
Yeah, it's quite small and already full. Yeah, I've got space, so I should be able to be fitting books in.
And there's 2 of you to fit.
Yeah, we've got a couple of cases.
Same amount of books. I wonder how many books you've got between you, because there's 46 there that I've got.
Yeah.
But you probably haven't got 46 each.
No, definitely not. This is insane. When we first came, we had a lot of food in one half of our suitcase, which, I mean, we haven't really ate a lot of because we were
just buying things in Tesco on the day.
Yeah, exactly. We were just doing a lot of snacking. But thank goodness that we have all of these tote bags because they're going to definitely come in handy for keeping all the spare stuff and all the freebies that you get at YALC, like the bookmarks and the chapter samplers and things. We've got so many of those that we're just going to have to carry around in one bag. So wish us luck.